I never imagined that the happiest day of my daughter's life would become the most humiliating and infuriating moment of mine. Imagine standing in front of over 100 guests, family, and friends at your only daughter's wedding, and having your brand new son-in-law, the man you helped support through school, the man you trusted, look you in the eyes and demand the keys to your 2,000 million family farm like it was part of his wedding gift. Right there, in front of everyone. I stood there frozen, holding a champagne glass, staring at this smug grin on his face as he asked, "So, Dad, are you going to hand over the keys now, or should we wait until after the cake? Tell me, would you have done what I did next?" Because to this day, I still wonder if I handled it right. Now, to make sense of that insane moment, I need to take you back a few years. I'm a farmer. Well, technically retired now, but I've worked that land for nearly 40 years. The farm isn't just property, it's legacy, blood, and sweat. My father built it up from nothing, and when he passed, he left it to me with one clear wish: keep it in the family, son. This land's your roots. I did just that. I built a comfortable life there with my wife, and we raised 2 kids, my daughter Emily and my son Daniel. Emily was always the softer one, smart, kind, and full of dreams beyond the countryside. Daniel was the practical one, more interested in tractors and soil samples than fancy city lights. I thought they'd both be fine. I thought I'd done everything right. Emily left for college and met Mark, the man who would later become the root of all this chaos. At first, Mark seemed perfect. Charming, polite, the kind of guy who remembered everyone's names and helped clean up after dinner. I liked him, I'll admit it. He wasn't rich, but he was ambitious. He'd talk about investments, business plans, and how he wanted to secure his future. I respected that. What I didn't realize then was that Mark's idea of securing his future involved using other people's hard work to climb the ladder. After college, Emily and Mark got engaged, and the planning began. My wife, bless her heart, went into full wedding mode. Decorations, venues, catering, and I footed most of the bill. Not because I was obligated to, but because I loved my daughter. She was my baby girl. I wanted her to have her dream wedding, and I thought Mark would appreciate the gesture. Little did I know, to him, it wasn't generosity. It was weakness. There were little red flags along the way, things I brushed off because I didn't want to ruin Emily's happiness. Like when Mark once joked, "It's nice that Emily comes from money. Saves me from working extra shifts." Or when he asked too many questions about the farm, how much it was worth, what the property taxes were, who was on the deed. At first, I thought he was just curious, maybe trying to learn. But there was something behind his tone, a kind of greed I couldn't quite put my finger on. Then, about a month before the wedding, I got an unexpected visit. Mark came by alone, said he wanted to talk man to man. I invited him into my office, offered him coffee, and waited. He didn't beat around the bush. "Sir," he said, "Emily and I have big plans for the future. We want to expand, maybe build a home, start a business. And, well, since you're planning to retire soon, I thought maybe the farm could be transferred to us. You know, to keep it in the family." I nearly choked on my coffee. I told him that while the farm was indeed staying in the family, I wasn't about to just hand it over. I explained that Daniel, my son, had been working there full time for years, and when the time came, he and Emily could both have their fair shares. But that wouldn't be until I was gone. Mark looked disappointed, but he smiled that fake polite smile and said, "Of course, sir, I understand completely." But I could see it in his eyes. He didn't like that answer. Fast forward to the wedding day. The ceremony was beautiful, I won't lie. Emily looked stunning. She had my wife's smile and the same nervous laugh she had as a little girl. I felt proud, emotional even, as I walked her down the aisle. For a moment, everything felt perfect. All the tension, the worries, gone. Until the reception. It started harmlessly enough. Toasts, laughter, clinking glasses. Then came Mark's turn to speak. He took the mic, thanked everyone for coming, and then, in this exaggeratedly charming tone, he said, "And a special thank you to my amazing new father-in-law, who not only raised the most incredible woman in the world, but also has promised to keep our new family's future secure." Right, Dad. Everyone laughed, and I forced a smile, not knowing what he was implying yet. Then, with everyone's attention on him, he continued, as you all know, family is everything, and in this family generosity runs deep, so Dad, I guess this is the perfect moment, in front of everyone, for you to make it official and hand over the keys to the farm, like we talked about. The whole hall went silent. You could hear forks drop. My wife's face turned pale, Daniel froze, and Emily looked like she'd just been slapped. I felt my blood pressure spike. For a few seconds, I honestly thought I was going to pass out. He said it so casually, like it was a done deal, like I had promised it to him. I looked around, and people were staring, whispering. My reputation, my pride, my life's work, all being paraded like a prize on auction. I took a deep breath and stood up. Mark, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. I think you're mistaken. I never agreed to that. He chuckled awkwardly and said, Oh, come on, sir. Don't be modest. You said it yourself. It's all family now. That was the moment something inside me snapped. I had two choices: stay silent and save face, or set the record straight and risk ruining the wedding mood. I chose the truth. I turned to the crowd and said, for everyone's clarity, there's been no such promise. The farm is my property. It's not a wedding gift, and it never will be handed over through public pressure. The room erupted in awkward murmurs. Mark's smile faded, replaced by a twitch of anger. Emily looked mortified. He tried to laugh it off, saying it was just a joke, but everyone could see it wasn't. The tension was thick enough to choke on. I excused myself, went outside for air, and that's when my wife joined me, tears in her eyes. She whispered, You did the right thing, but I think this marriage is going to be trouble. And she was right. The next few weeks were hell. Emily tried to mediate, saying Mark was just nervous and had too much to drink. But I wasn't buying it. Then Daniel told me that Mark had been bragging to some of his friends about inheriting the farm soon. That was it for me. I decided to take action quietly. I contacted my lawyer and had my will and property documents updated. I made sure the farm was placed in a trust that could only pass to my children, not their spouses. That way, even if Emily and Mark divorced or Mark tried to manipulate her, he'd never legally touch it. I didn't tell anyone at first. I just wanted to protect what my father built. But life has a cruel sense of irony. A few months later, Emily called me crying. Apparently, she had caught Mark trying to forge her signature on some financial documents related to her personal savings. She was heartbroken. She said he'd been acting distant, controlling, even insulting her when she refused to talk about their farm plans. She finally saw what I'd seen all along. Before I tell you what happened next, I want to pause for a second. What would you have done in my position? Would you forgive your daughter's husband for humiliating you in public and trying to take what's yours? Or would you cut him off completely? I'm genuinely curious, because at that point, I didn't know what was right anymore. So here's what I did. I called Mark myself and told him to meet me at the farm. When he arrived, he looked nervous, probably expecting me to offer some kind of truce. I led him out to the barn, the heart of everything I've worked for, and handed him a set of keys. He looked at them, stunned. Are you serious? He asked, trying to hide his grin. Completely, I said. But before you start celebrating, let me show you what they're for. I walked him over to the old equipment shed, opened it, and revealed an old, rusted tractor and some storage boxes. Those are the only keys you're ever getting from me, I told him. You wanted keys to the farm. Here you go. Keys to the oldest, most useless building on it. Because that's exactly what your attitude deserves. He turned red with anger, muttering something about respect and family loyalty. I told him respect is earned, not demanded. Then I made it clear. If he ever tried to pressure Emily or manipulate her again, I'd have him removed from the property permanently. A week later, Emily packed her bags and came home. She was devastated but also relieved. She told me she finally realized who Mark really was. A manipulative, greedy man who thought he could marry into wealth and security. She filed for divorce soon after. It was painful to watch her go through it, but at least she got out before it was too late. The divorce got messy. Mark tried to claim partial ownership of Emily's inheritance, which, thanks to the trust, he had no legal right to. His lawyer backed off the moment they saw the paperwork. He ended up leaving town not long after, drowning in debt and reputation. I never saw him again, and honestly, I don't care to. As for Emily, she's rebuilding her life. She's been living back home for a while, helping me manage the farm again. It's brought us closer, even though it's bittersweet how we got here. Daniel's still around, and sometimes we all joke about the great key incident. But underneath the laughter, I know it left a scar. Family trust once broken is hard to rebuild. A few months ago, during dinner, Emily asked me, "Dad, did I ruin your memory of my wedding day?" I looked at her and said, "No, sweetheart." He did. "You just got caught in the crossfire." We hugged, and I could tell she finally believed it wasn't her fault. Looking back now, I realize that sometimes love blinds good people, and greed exposes the worst in others. I used to think protecting my legacy meant keeping my property safe. But now I see it's more about protecting the people who actually care about it. The ones who value the history, not the price tag. So, was I wrong for standing up to my son-in-law that day? Some people said I should have kept quiet, not caused a scene. But I say dignity isn't something you hand over for the sake of appearances. That day, I didn't just protect a farm. I protected my family's integrity. If you were in my shoes, would you have done the same? Or would you have tried to keep the peace for your daughter's sake? Let me know what you think in the comments. I read every single one. And hey, if you think I was right to stand my ground, give this video a like. It really helps me know whose side you're on. Don't forget to subscribe for more real stories like this. You never know what family drama might come next. Thanks for listening to my story. I'll see you all in the next one.